What's up everybody, Gundam Flexing here, and I'm excited to do this video because in this video we're going to be going over one of my very first master grades that I've ever built. It is the OZ-00MS Tallgeese. This is the Endless Waltz version. This model came out in 2013 and I built it in 2016, and you can definitely tell it is somewhat a product of a noob because I was unable to remove most of the nub marks. So in the video, if you pay real close attention, you'll be able to see a lot of blemishes here and there. But this is a great model. Again, it came out in 2013 and the price range is on the lower end of most master grades, which is around $40. With this model, you get a very minimalist sticker sheet. You have a lot of decals, 2 beam sabers, 4 sets of hand, a really awesome looking shield, his auto cannon, and of course 2 awesome looking jet booster packs. So before we go into the Tallgeese itself, let's cover all the extra periphery items, and coming up first is the sticker sheet. And as I said before, the sticker sheet is extremely basic. Here it is, a lot of red circles right there, and you get 2 elongated yellow stickers right here, and those go on his booster packs in the back. Now one thing that I noticed, especially now that this model has been following me for about 5 years, I have been moving quite a bit, is that these stickers do tend to start peeling away. So unless if you had adhesive, keep that in mind, that if you pull this guy out of the box after you posed him or whatever, that the stickers will begin to peel. So definitely consider getting yourself adhesives. And here is the decal sheet. Now this guy most likely came with multiple decal sheets, but this is one. Here it is. Tell it's most likely dry decal right here. And one thing to note is I actually followed the instructions and I applied all the small red decals on this model. And I think you definitely should too, because it just makes the model pop out a lot more. Because if you don't, the vast majority of the color is white, but these little red stickers here definitely add a lot more detail and a little bit of more things to pop out. But here is a dry decal sheet for your reference. Very easy to apply. Yes, it's tedious, but absolutely worth it. And coming up next are his beam sabers. So his beam sabers, as far as I know, are not mounted anywhere on his body. So instead, I just keep them loose in the box. These beam sabers are very basic and very long. Here, pretty much almost the length of the model itself. But if we were to look at one beam saber, here's the basic beam. It's like this pink color. Here's the handle. And the handle pretty much comes in 2. And you put a little decal right there. And this is the interesting part. The top of the handle also could come off like that. And you could just put it back in. And you notice that here you have 3 little notches right here. And that is for his hands, which we'll go over next. So as I said, this guy comes with essentially 4 pair of hands. We have an open hand, and if you notice, all his digits are not individualized, unlike the master grade Zaku where his fingers are individual. But this one is an open hand right here, and then this one is a closed trigger finger like this. Now currently the other trigger finger is on his cannon, and the other open hand under here is underneath his shield. But I'm going to use this as an example. Here in his hands, you can notice there is a notch right there. And this notch pretty much falls in line with the handle, because the handle's notches will go in here and it'll lock on, and that's how it'll grip. So if I were to use another example, here is a pair of fists right here, which is meant for his beam sabers. Again, you can see here are the notches in his hand right there. And of course, as I mentioned before, you have the divots right here, and all you have to do is just match the divots to the notches in his hand, and that's how he's pretty much going to grip his weapon very tightly, like that. So there's no issues. And of course, he comes with a pair of fist hands right here. Oh, the other one dropped. But this is one pair right here. Very basic, single piece. Nothing to report there. And of course, with most master grades, you get your pilot. And here's this one, unpainted. And that's pretty much it for all the extra periphery items for this Tallgeese. And now onto the model itself. I was extremely pleasant with this model. When I first built it and completed, it was just so elegant and beautiful that I just had to buy its own white stand here. So the stand in the background is something separate, not included with the model. But I definitely bought another stand just because I wanted it to be white and match his overall colors. I think this guy is completely beautiful, great design. Overall, I love his little Roman type helmet right here. I love his shield, I love his cannon, and of course the little red decals all over his body. Now of course, when I said that the stickers right here can start furling up or whatever and you have to use adhesives, I noticed that it's not so much true for the dry decals, and those stayed on actually quite well. So we're going to check out the model from like top to bottom. And coming up first is his head. And one thing to note is his eyes right here is transparent, like almost all the way through, which is really cool. And of course, we were talking about the giant Roman type helmet right here. He doesn't have any neck collars, so really his head could twist and turn without anything impeding its way. If we look at his shoulders, and his shoulders are a pretty cool design too. His shoulders are wrapped around a ball joint, which is this thing right here. And it goes down right here. It covers this location right here, so it's like almost like a shoulder plate, which I think is pretty awesome. And it's like a dual color, so you have one layer outside, which is white, and then you have another layer on the inside, which is yellow. And that is definitely a theme for this whole thing because he's mostly white, yellow outlining, and then you get the dark blue colors like this, or his ball joint and his shoulders like that. One thing I do want to show you all is his booster packs. Now you can see here that as a noob, I was using panel lining. I wanted to experiment. I really wanted this model to stand out because at the time I didn't have anything to do weathering or nothing like that, which now I'm sort of glad I didn't weather him or like try to paint or do whatever, because I just think the model is fine the way it is. But here's his jet booster packs. One of his wings is a little bit bent out of place, but there it is. And if I can, I'm going to show you, these pretty much mirror each other, the exact same thing. One thing that's really cool is you have the boosters pack right there, and you have the boosters in there. And then as you close, you're able to open the boosters, and you can watch it expand, or you're able to collapse it and have it closed. And here are these little cool little notches right there as well. But these things are also on a joint that are connected to the back, so you're able to sort of like bring it down like this, bring it out like this, and then the pieces right here, you're sort of able to twist it around like that, or you could do it at the boosters itself. But the boosters are a really nice touch, and it did give you an opportunity to panel line. And one thing I wanted to point out is that this model is about 5 years old since I built it. Again, the stickers are about to come undone, but I do add adhesives, so I'm definitely going to have to fix that before I put them back into the box. But yeah, the booster pack is really cool looking. And now moving on to his shield. So his shield is connected through his shoulder right there. So here's the connector pieces. It's on a PCP piece, and it goes all the way around. And you have a handle, which the handle could be fit into his hands, but I just like to use the open hands right here and just sort of rested the handle right here against his hand. One cool thing to note about this shield is it's circular, which is pretty much like a very uncommon shape in Gunpla, at least from my experience, because most of the shields are pretty much more practical. They cover the whole body. But this shield is circular. You have an outline piece, which is yellow, and then the main body is white. And then you have an awesome eagle decal right here, which is pretty awesome. Very detailed as well. And I don't have any issues with the shield. You're able to mount it like this. If you want to use it, you're able to take it out or whatever. But overall, it just fits very nicely and firmly into his hands. If you want to check out the arms real quick, his arms are very basic, like this. You have a joint right here in the elbows, no issue there. And if we go on the other end of the shield, here is, just like the shield, is his cannon, except just like the shield, it's connected to this piece right here. And right now the cannon is connected to his hands right here, his trigger finger. So I'm going to take this guy apart. I'm going to take out the hand from the arm, and I wanted to dismount the the weapon from the PC joint right here, so we can get a pretty much good look on it right there. So at the end of the rifle, here is the circle, because it fits on a ball joint right there. That way it's very easily maneuverable, and it's easy for the builder and the poser to move it around without the body impeding on it. But here is the magazine clip. Unfortunately, it is not a separate piece, so there's nothing you can't pull out of. Here is his main body of the weapon, and if we look on the opposite end, now if we were to see the other side of the weapon, here it is. Here is like the chamber portion where if this gun were to shoot, this lock or here mechanism would shoot back, but unfortunately it is static. We look up at the mid portion of the weapon. Here is his second grip. Underneath is his primary grip. Here is an awesome decal right there. This piece here, I'm assuming, is serving as some sort of like an aiming device there. And of course we have his barrel, which is very long, very extended, and the muzzle right here. The barrel has like a pretty cool intro piece right here before it elongates out like that. So yes, this is I would say this is a very basic type of weapon, very easy to build, but aesthetically it's pretty awesome to look at. Now moving on to his body. His body has vents right here, and this is an interesting piece right here. Following the design of the show is some sort of handlebar right there. Here's his back for those of you interested, and it does have decals. Now his whole body, I would say his upper body and his lower body is pretty much connected by one giant piece like that on a ball joint. There and there. That way he's able to twist around or whatever, and even look forward and sort of cant left and cant right like this. So that's a pretty cool option. His lower body follows the same design patterns as the upper body, of course primarily white, sprinkled on his decals. In the front, here we have a booster underneath his main skirt, and this is the back of his skirt, which we can open up and reveal more boosters. So this guy has a lot of boosters. He's incredibly maneuverable, especially if you already watched the show, you know what he's capable of. And here on the side of the skirts, and unfortunately there are no boosters at the side of his skirts. Now his side of the skirt, I was hoping that at least if I recall correctly, when I was building it, I wanted this thing to open to actually put his beam sabers in, but unfortunately that's not the case. This thing is just one solid pretty much skirt that's not able to open. Here's his front portion of his legs, and as you could tell here, I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was sort of just like panel lining just to make things stand out more. So I did panel line it right here, and obviously due to the thickness you could tell it was with a panel line marker. And what I should have done was probably do something with these right here, these 4 little indentions on his thighs. Here's the back of his legs there. Of course he has his knee joints. So his upper leg has design, and his bottom legs is pretty much flat. Here's his kneecaps, which is pretty cool. So it's like a knee right here. He's obviously very flexible. And here's the bottom of his feet. As you can see here, he is able to have like flexion in his toes right here, and not any in his ankles. And of course, it's all in a ball joint right there, and his skirts underneath his legs or over his feet don't impede the movement. So that's good. So that's his lower body, and this is his upper body. And overall, the design of the Tallgeese is just phenomenal. So overall, I'm actually incredibly pleased with this master grade. Even though if it's 5 years old, the design still holds true. It's so beautiful. You'd figure that it probably came out in like last year or something. And because of this master grade model, I am encouraged to get the real grade model. Again, you get the stickers, which is very minimal. You get awesome decals, which I highly recommend using. The shield is phenomenal. The main autocannon is great. Even the beam sabers, in a way, is pretty awesome too, but on most models I just don't really use my beam sabers. His hands could use a little bit of work on. I sort of like hands that have individual digits, but it's not bad. It's not a game stopper. His booster packs on the back is really cool, and booster packs on the back of his skirt are awesome as well. So if I have the time later today, most likely what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over this whole thing and with a hobby knife, and I'm gonna fix the nub marks. That's all I have to say about the Tallgeese. Highly recommend it, guys. And if you do have the real grade and you want to recommend it to me, just post it down in the comment section below. It's only a matter of time before I have to get it. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. As always, stay safe, wash your hands, and peace out.